Hi everyone, my name is Duncan and I'm back with another unscripted video. This one talking about childhood trauma. So I know I did a video about childhood trauma a while ago, but that was mainly focused on video games rather than TV shows I watched as a kid. And that's what the video will be focused on. Childhood trauma, TV shows, scene, or even movies. So I'm gonna begin with my first childhood trauma. So when I was a kid, my parents got the Oz-Star, which later was brought out by Fox and became Foxtel. And on the Oz-Star there was like a lot of channels, and I mean a lot of channels, and one of which being CBB. And there were like a lot of shows on CBBS I absolutely loved, like Big Cook, Little Cook, Lazy Town, The Tweenies, Todd's World, you know, all of them. I absolutely loved them as a kid. But there was this one show that caught little Duncan's interest, that being the Numberjacks. I don't know if you remember this show, but the Numberjacks is about these CGI animated numbers, like solving problems and beating these evil villains called meanies. Yes, I'm not even joking, they're called the meanies. Not the baddies, not problem makers, meanies. Which I guess it makes sense for a kids show. And there was this one character, one meanie that absolutely fucking scared me to death. And before I get comments of people being like, oh, I know what you're going to mention. You're going to mention the problem blob. Or, oh, you're going to mention the shape shaper. You're going to say that you're scared of the shape shaper. Or you're going to mention that you're scared of this one floating head guy that looks like he shouldn't be near a school at all. No, I am talking about the Numbertaker. Which might be saying, Numbertaker, why are you scared of him? Well, I'll explain why I was terrified of the Numbertaker. It's the fact he doesn't smile at all. Like, if I remember correctly, I don't think he ever smiles in the show at all. He just stands there looking so menacingly at me. Like, he is fucking creepy to kid me. I remember me as a kid just being absolutely horrified to this guy, to the point that I end up just quickly changing the channel every time this dude like appears on the screen, because I did not want to see him. But now looking back at him, since now, you know, I'm older, I just laugh at the design and be like, bro, he looks like if the president and Alfred had a kid. Like, no joke, he looks like if Alfred and the president both had a child. He looks like their rejected child. And when I told Dad that I was scared of this character, like when I bring him up, my dad was like, how is he creepy, Duncan? How is he creepy? Well, that was until my dad was watching one of the episodes with my younger sister. So my younger sister goes to kindergarten, or used to go to kindy, and the teacher would let them watch Numberjacks rather than Coco Melon, because the teacher doesn't want kids with soup for brains. Well, a base teacher. Anyway, so my little sister wants to watch Numberjacks, so my dad put it on YouTube for my little sister, and he got to see the Numbertaker. And I went outside to see my dad, and my dad was like, hey Duncan, remember how you said that you found the Numbertaker terrifying as a kid? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I think he's absolutely scary too, because holy shit, why the fuck was he hiding behind a tree or some shit like that? But yeah, that was one of my childhood fears I had. Now, the next childhood fear I had was from another TV series. I'm not sure if you know this. It was called the Aquabats Super Show. The Aquabats was based on an actual band. When I was a kid, I didn't know they were an actual band. I thought the Aquabats was, you know, originally a TV series about a bunch of superheroes who play in the band and battle bad guys and villains and so on and so forth. But no, it turns out they're a band. Like an actual band, kind of like, oh, I forgot the name of the other band, but it's these radioactive chickens or vegetables or something. I don't know, please correct me in the comments. I think Raymondo even talked about this band. But anyhow, so there was this character, this villain that just fucking terrified me as a kid. What happened, I was watching the show, you know, I thought the Aquabats Super Show was, you know, pretty funny. Like, Haha, look at these silly superheroes, lol. But then, I got to this one episode. I got to the episode which is called Showtime, which is the season 1 finale. And so there was this little girl who was kidnapped by these alien-looking guys. And so these two superheroes, not the Aquabats, but these two other superheroes, Super Magic Man, which funnily enough is played by Weird Al, and Super Magic Man's wife, Leno Lynn Lady. You know, they defeat the aliens, they pose for a photograph with the girl, and then the girl asks to borrow the Super Magic Power Man's, like, circlet of power, which of course, he's like, okay, sure, you could borrow it. And she vaporized them both. And this girl turns around and her eyes are, like, completely black. But that's not the only thing that fucking freaked me out. It's her transformation scene, where she reveals herself to be fucking Super Monster M. And that's just even more terrifying for me as a kid. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was absolutely fucking petrified. This girl turned into a fucking bald man with a letter M on his head and glowing red eyes and such, and it was the most horrifying shit I saw. But for whatever reason, instead of just changing the channel, I just sat there and watched. I couldn't turn away. I just sat there and watched the whole episode, trying to process what the fuck I'm looking at. Because what the fuck were they thinking? Like, I know that the villains are based on the villains in the, band, but, this thing is fucking horrifying. Anyways, onto my last childhood fear, that being the robot from Wallace and Gromit. Well, there's actually two robots that actually horrify me from Wallace and Gromit. The robot from the first movie, I think it's called The Grand Day Out, and the dog from Closed Shave. Those two fucking petrified me as a kid. Like, I was absolutely petrified by these fucking two characters. The robot in the first few scenes in Grand Day Out was fine. Like, I didn't see him as menacing until he fucking tried to tear the rocket apart. And that's what terrified me, and it doesn't help that the lighting from the episode just made him look even more menacing. And then we got the robot dog from fucking Close Shave. His design absolutely horrified me. Like, I do not know what they were thinking, but his design was just god scary. And it didn't help that he tried to fucking kill them, including the sheep. It didn't fucking help that he was trying to kill the sheep and all that. That's just made him even more terrifying. But yeah, those are my childhood fears I had as a kid watching TV. And I just remember one more. The Simpsons. And before you think, no, I'm not scared of The Simpsons, I was scared of one of the Treehouse of Horror episodes of The Simpsons. It was pretty much where Marge ended up turning her house into like a robot sort of house thing. And I think what scared me was the fact that fucking Homer was quote unquote killed by the house. Well, he wasn't actually killed, thank God, but it was still fucking terrifying. Well, it didn't scare me at first until one night I went to bed and I had a nightmare and I was fucking horrified of the episode. I didn't want to watch the episode again because I was worried about having that nightmare again. I can't remember the nightmare I had, but I remember it fucking scared the shit out of me. Anyways, I think I'm done here now. So, thank you for watching this video, and I hope I see you guys soon. Bye!
%100% pure fish.